Empire would have been gone.
Yeah,
that's it. That would have been it. If they didn't,
that would have been the freedom that them still needed. Yeah.
Would have been dead.
What a season finale we just had. Welcome back to Structure. I'm your host, Lion, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mystery.
What up?
Are we doing today?
Hey, we just watched the season finale of Foundation. What an episode. Absolutely crazy. For everybody that's been watching it with us, we appreciate it. For all the newcomers, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that like button, right? Lion, we got a lot to talk about.
Comment.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got a whole lot to talk about. So let's get into it.
Without further ado, let's get to it. Just had 10 wonderful episodes of the season 2 of Foundation. An amazing ride from season 1 to now. Definitely an excellent season in my opinion. Let's start from the beginning. So the beginning of this episode, they pull a twist. Gail was the master the master planner of the whole thing. She let us believe she was useless, she was incapable, she was weak, she was lame, she was mid, and everything else in between. Because I was saying it, like, I was disappointed through the whole season with Gail. But little did we know, she planned and orchestrated a big ruse with the whole thing with Harry. Not just that, it was, by the way, this is how Harry's alive. I realized this was happening. I made everybody believe this thing. This is how powerful she was, and we had no idea.
No.
And we alluded to that the only thing that could maybe save the season for her is that she would all of a sudden orchestrate the whole thing. And yeah, lo and behold, she did. We had Helen eliminated by the things she put in motion, her plan being in motion, having Harry be her backup, I guess, her ace up her sleeve. What was her thoughts on the whole wrap up of the situation with the Mentalics? Not just that, them going to cryo freeze to wake up 152 years in the future. What's your thoughts on all that thing that happened there?
Very, very interesting. Lion, like you said, this show had a lot of twists, more twists than a roller coaster, and more emotional shifts than the win. It was absolutely crazy. Like you said, them going into the cryo freeze for 150 years. I mean, who would want to do that? I understand they have to do it for society and everything like that. But after doing that once, I wouldn't want to do it twice. I would be the guy to stay and mold the Mentalics. Right? I loved this episode. We won't get into ratings or anything like that. But the fact that you're talking about Gail, who was practicing
the ultimate hero.
When you're strong, yeah. When you're strong, play weak. She played weak the entire time. I was like, what's going on? I thought, you have Tellum that's completely fascinated by her abilities and ready to jump into her body. And then you had Gail. She's just playing possum, and lo and behold, she was the puppet master of the whole thing on that planet. Right? She was running the show. And the veil was revealed in this episode. We saw a lot of things that were happening, not only with that, but with Harry. Wow, it's still a lot to digest.
And they really shocked me with the whole thing with Salvor. So Salvor, we saw her in the future. We knew. At least they made us believe Salvor is surviving the season. At the end of that section of the show, we saw that Tellum, as we had somewhat predicted incorrectly, jumped into Josiah, controlled him, had him shoot, but instead of shooting Gail, he ended up shooting Salvor. And Salvor dying proves that there is there's hope that the future can be changed, thus the mule can and will be stopped.
See, that's the whole thing for me, because I thought that the future could be changed, because in the Prime Radiant, it showed a deviation, right? So that never was an issue for me but I get it. And the fact that uh, it's 150 years later that that's the point that I was going to make. You did predict it right. Tellum did jump into the little boy's body just
But he's not the mule
150
though.
years earlier. Yeah, but he's not the mule. Okay, but you were saying that the mule is that boy and blah 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 yada yada. But it's just that it happened 150 years earlier than before. So who is the mule?
I don't know. I maybe it's brother Don's child. Who knows? For some reason. Or
That's a wild guess. That's
what
possible.
if Talon still survived and she left a little bit of her to somebody else in there? Who knows? That's gonna be interesting to see. Not just that, I was quite confused, and you guys let me know in the comments if I'm if to maybe clarify what's happening there. Gail had told Harry, "Hey, let's take a year, then to train these people. Then let's go into the cryo freeze and wake up every so often." And
Like
I'm not
once a
quite
year.
sure that was. I'm not quite sure that was explaining all the way how they're gonna be doing if they agreed to do that, because it was all of a sudden they moved the cryopods into the temple, and these two people are gonna be just sleeping there, being watched and adored by the Metallics. So that's gonna be interesting to see
Worship.
what's gonna happen there.
Very, very interesting, very bizarre. Who do you know that goes into the cryo freeze for 150 years? No one. And
Gail,
I think they were
Gail's done
saying
it
that.
twice
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I think they were saying that they were going to wake him up once a year, just to
That's
see
what I
their
understood
progress.
from it as well. You guys
yeah.
let us know in the comments if that was swept away, or if there maybe I missed that the time did pass and that's how long it took to move the pods into the temple. So I was quite confused there. It was interesting to see that as they're going to the pods, Gail used the memory of rage to calm herself down, being in the pod, and Harry thought of Yana to calm himself down because he was kind of like, ooh, freaking out. I'm kind of claustrophobic. I'll be freaking out too if I'm in a glass coffin filled with some kind of liquid. It's just not natural for sure. But
Yeah.
hopefully, if we get a season 3, I do hope we do. We had the writer's strike affecting the future of this show. So it's gonna be up to Apple see
So
how
see you
many
guys in
people
2
love and
years.
enjoy it. Let
We'll
Apple
have
know,
another
people.
episode in 2 years.
Anyone watching this, let Apple know you love this show. I'm gonna let them know.
Don't play
I
with
want
my foundation.
I want at least 5 seasons of the show. I want this story to be wrapped up nice. So much great content. I want spin-off shows. I want to know more about Emerald Pass. I want it all from this show. This is one of the best
here's
shows on
another
television for me.
suggestion. Here's another suggestion. I'd be willing to pay a reasonable amount of money to see the entire season in one sitting. Send me something. Let's negotiate.
Apple, David Goyer, the producer, director of the show. Listen, let us see the episodes ahead of time. We'll make the reviews, get everything ready to go. Help a brother out. Let us know. We love to have you on the show. We love to interview you. We love to talk to you. Hey, Lee Pace. Anybody has a contact, let them know to talk to us. We'd love to have you on the show for sure. I would love Lee Pace, the actress that plays Emerson. I can't remember her name right now. Amazing actors this season. They killed it. Normally Lee Pace, first season, first season Lee Pace was amazing, but Demerzel killed it this season as well. Moving on, we have the story of the people in Terminus, Bel Riois and Hober Malo, our boy Hober Malo, the guy that really improved the dynamics on the show. Hober Malo was such a breath of fresh air. He changed the feel of the show. He was this Han Solo type character. He was this loose cannon, this swindler, this salesman, and comedy relief. A lot of comedy relief due to him. Every time he was on screen, he was interesting. Thus, he did not make it past this season. He went down with the ship, but it was interesting to see the connection at the end between Bel Riois and Howard Malo. What was your thoughts on the whole thing that happened with Terminus, the people in Terminus, with Bel Riois, Brother Day, and Howard Malo?
Bro, That blew my mind because they started the episode with the planet completely torn apart, blown up, right? And I'm like, okay, so they're gone. They really are gone. I thought maybe they'll make an escape or something, but no, they were gone. And then you see the ship blow up, and so you're like, okay, so now you got even more loss. So nobody within that realm of space survived, but lo and behold, Terminus survived because they hopped in a vault. How?
What's
Not
up with
only
the vault?
how, but it not only but but Belriois's boyfriend is there too. So it's like, dude, Belriois gave his life because he thought he's going to see you in the afterlife, but lo and behold, you still in the present. But Belriois is going. But then you have to live with the fact that Belriois pulled the trigger to eliminate you as the boyfriend who was on planet Terminus. So there's like I said, is a lot of emotional shifts, a lot of things that you got to just digest with this particular episode. I
gotta say that the people of Terminus were kind of mad. They didn't do anything. They just took it from the Empire. I don't know, maybe they knew the plan or what was happening there, but they just took it, right? So we see Terminus get destroyed, and I guess they figured out a way to get everybody into the vault. I had to see how that happened, but that's gonna be a plot armor for them. What was very cool to see was Brother Day getting into a fight with Belriois. Belriois finally reveling and pulling a trick. We saw that Howard Mallow did make the deal with the spacers. That's how the ships were folding into each other's spaces, or teleporting, folding space, and essentially destroying all, like, a big chunk of the army that the Empire has, thus weakening the Empire severely. I bet to you that you will see a much weaker Empire when the show comes around again, if it comes around.
Let me make one additional point, line, and something that came to mind after the episode. Remember when Brother Dusk and his love interest, they went into that secret place and Demoiselle was triggered, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if they didn't go into there. What would have happened? Demoiselle would have gone down with the ship too. Empire would have been gone.
Yeah.
That's it. That would have been it. If they didn't,
that would have been the freedom that Demoiselle
would have been dead, and the Empire would have been over. That would have been it.
That's a great point that you make, because that Demoiselle is the one that really, she's the glue that holds this whole thing that Cleon, the first ones, together.
Yep.
Has she been destroyed? Who's gonna be decanting the clones? Who's gonna be curating the memories?
No.
Who would have ascended to the throne right at that particular moment?
Brother Day.
Brother Dawn, sorry. Ascended.
Yeah, sorry. Brother Dawn with his wife. It would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. But you know the writers. Yep. We need a season 3, guys.
We need it. There's so much to do. There's so many stories to tell with this particular show. So we saw that they challenged Belriois to fight. They start fighting, and Brother Day could hold his own. He was really whooping on Belriois, but Belriois was very smart, and he put a little switcheroo, if you call it, when he used the same trick that Howard Mallow did when we first were introduced to him, where he switched places at the very last second with Day, having Day expel into space. Thus, Belriois going in history as the only guy who's ever killed a Cleon. And the only outside of Demoiselle that's successfully killed a Cleon, not just any Cleon, the commanding Cleon, the Emperor one, Brother Day. So this Day that was vulnerable on multiple occasions. He was vulnerable on the second episode, or on the first episode. He was vulnerable on episode 7 when Howard Mallow showed up. And finally, he was vulnerable against Belriois, and that one cost him. There was no one to save it. In the first one, and you know what's interesting? The 3 times that he had an encounter that's physical, that he was vulnerable, Demoiselle was there to protect him. The first one, for the second one, but when she was not there, he was killed, then thus letting us know that without Demerzel, the clones are very vulnerable and they have no protection. That's what happened. That's the illustration there. As soon as she left, he was done pretty much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How fitting was that Belriois got his revenge after being in that prison planet for so long, that he was able to eliminate Brother Day.
It was satisfying. They celebrated with some wine that tasted like piss, and they went about their way to heaven. Hopefully,
Yeah.
and then we are left with questions. We know that Demerzel went back to Trentor and terminated Dusk, and crying. She shows as a robot that she cares for these clones. She's their
Right.
mother/lover, depending on the stage of life, and caregiver.
Right.
And it is hard for her to have to eliminate them, having to decant 3 more at the same time. What connection will she have with the next 3 Cleons that she had to decant, right? She has to make a hard decision. They went from making her seem like a very evil puppeteer to a puppet with no choice in the matter. She's just following programming, thus being a very sad existence. The only release she could have is someone destroying her or eliminating her, so she could finally be free. That's the only ending I see for Demerzel.
They have to, but how do they do that, right? She hired the assassins, and they sliced her, and she still was
she's
able
waterproof.
to heal herself, right? Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Throw some water. Let's do a water bomb. No, so
she's not like one of these phones out here. She's definitely one of these Android phones. She's definitely waterproof.
So she's a staple, but you make a really good point, because right now she is the glue that is holding the Empire together, because she has to get these new clones up to speed. She has to ramp them up and fill them in and train Dawn. Jesus. She has to train Dawn. So there's a lot of work that she has to do while the Empire is falling apart. They just announced, Brother Dawn just announced, hey, this is the end of the...
We're eloping and we're out.
Yeah. And so season 3, dun, 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 can we get into it? Here,
let's do this. Let's do this.
No, I'm gonna do it. No, it's fine.
We should do a separate video for season 3. What we expect or we hope to see. We can make a separate video for that.
For season 3.
Stay
Speculations.
Tuned.
Yeah.
Speculations and theories with us. Hey, I was half right on some stuff, but I completely missed the mark. But that brings me to the question: who was the mule talking to at the end of the episode? So, hey, Gail is gonna be waking up 152 years later. The mule's talking to someone. He seems to be kneeling down or looking down.
Pick me.
Who's commanding? Go ahead. Let us know, brother.
Demoiselle. Demoiselle. There you go.
You think he was talking to Demerzel? Interesting. Yeah. But why would he? What would he?
She hired the assassins, and maybe she hired this guy to eliminate the threat of Gale.
And shout out to our viewers. Some of you guys got it right and said on the comments. And we had a lot of comments, a lot of love on the last video. Thank you so much for that. We really, really appreciate it. And some of you guys got it right. You guys knew that Demerzel was the one who hired the Blind Angel. It was all a ruse from her to be able to eliminate Queen Sarit. So, in my opinion, I have to think maybe this is a wild thing here. Maybe some Mentalic that survived, that was left alive, that was close to Telem, has a piece of Telem inside, and this is somewhat a creature that has Telem inside that's communicating with this mule. Because the mule knew Telem's name in that vision she had, and Telem was scared. So they led me to believe that Telem has some knowledge of the mule. Maybe Telem's inside the mule in some way, but not in control, just as a voice of reason or a voice that pushes the mule, and that who he's talking to himself inside his head. Just a wild speculation here. Let us know in the comments, who do you guys think the mule was talking to? Am I right? Telling inside his head. Is Mr. E right? That is Demerzel. That's the one that's commanding. Or could it be Kali? Could it be Kali?
Who?
Kali. Kali is the other one that we believe is a robot. Because Kali is not a life form. And we only got to see her that one episode. And now we don't know anything more about her. So lots of mysteries with that particular character. That would be very interesting if Kali was a robot for sure. Now, my other question is, what is going to happen with Brother Dawn and Queen Sarah's son or kid? Let's think about this. So they leave. They're going to have a child that has a claim to the throne. We're going to have 3 puppet emperors, essentially. Are we going to come back to a war in the empire that's going to be turning the empire around? So that's going to be interesting in the future.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
let's
this
have a
is
conversation on that as well.
As anything, the short answer is yes, and we'll talk more about that on season 3 predictions. But you know, who's the rightful heir to the throne is going to pop up on season 3, no question.
I'm Brother E. Let's go to your favorite part of the video. Let's rate this episode. What do you rate this episode, Brother E?
I don't know. It's I like the twists and turns. I like the shifts. I kind of the explanation part on with Gale and explaining everything. I think they sort of ran out of time.
Yeah, so it was very rushed. It felt very rushed.
It was very season 6 of Game of Thrones, and so I'm gonna give it a 9.5. It could have been a 10 with the execution of the explanation a little bit better, but it was like, you know, it sort of was like, you know, when we're kids and it's like, no, I got you because I did this, and this, and you didn't see it, and that part was a little bit far-fetched, but everything else was amazing, and I loved it. Looking forward to season 3, 9.5. How about you, Lion?
This was a fantastic episode. I enjoyed it thoroughly. As you said, the whole situation with Gale was wrapped up very conveniently. I called that plot armor. I didn't enjoy that Gale was his mastermind because she didn't show any hints of it. It would have some hints. It maybe would have been, if it would have been developed a little bit more, I think it would have come out better. That was the weakest part of the episode. Salvor dying being such a huge thing. Gale fought through the whole season trying to make sure that that Salvor survived in the future. She forgot about the present, and Salvor dying in the present let us know that the future is going to be different and can be different already.
Right.
The whole thing with Brother Day, this Brother Day that was vulnerable, as I mentioned multiple times, the sign that the moment that Demerzel was not around, he got. And then we have a love story with Queen Sarah and Brother Dawn, which I think was very wonderfully done. Very sad for Brother Dusk. I gotta give it to the showrunners. They made us feel sad. They made us feel sad for the clones. I feel bad for Brother Dawn and for Brother Dusk. Brother Day, total a-hole. Nobody really cared for him except for the actor. The actor, they're amazing on it. And you know, they made us feel something for these characters. Bel Rioi's amazing love story as well. Hobart Mallow and Brother Constance, amazing love story. Hobart Mallow, what a great character to be introduced on a show, and his ending. From every single time he was on screen, he stole the show, especially in this episode. I have to give this episode.
He needs his own series.
Because of the thing with Gale, a 9.5. It's my second favorite episode. Episode 8. Best episode of the whole show. Episode 10, second best episode of the whole show. Let us know in the comments if you guys agree with our rating. With that said, let's also
hold on, Lion. We have to take a minute to acknowledge the fact that I think this is the first time this season that we both have agreed on the rating. What does that tell you guys? Yeah.
Finally, we got one that we can agree on.
There it is.
It definitely is. Because I want to give it a 10. But that intro with Gale just being this mastermind, like, it was me. Like, no.
Exactly.
Like,
Ah,
no, it was just it wasn't it. It was somewhat
yeah.
mid. It just everything else after that was amazing on the episode. So that's the weakest point. Second favorite episode of the whole show. With that said, let's also rate the season. We always rate the season from 1 to 10 to see how do we feel about the whole package put together. The season had their highs and the lows. Let's just go right into it. Mr. E, Brother E, what do you rate this season?
I don't know. You didn't tell me we were doing this. I didn't have time to prepare. I got one question. Do a bunch of eights equal a 10? And I think in this case, I'm going to say that they do, because I love this season. It's significantly better than the first season. And they had to bring it because we waited 2 years for the second season, and every episode was entertaining, some more than others, but they never really disappointed you on any episode. And also, this particular season was sort of like, to me, the same feeling that I got when I would watch Star Wars when I was younger. It was exciting. There was all new things that you were learning, and different worlds, hopping to planets, and there were fights in space. So that's an inside joke.
Fighting in space?
So I'm gonna give it a 10.
That's what's up. It's hard to, I already said so many great things about this season. The lows were so minimal. There wasn't one single episode that was bad. There wasn't one single episode that was left like, I could have done without that episode. And the first season had like one, maybe two episodes that were a little slower, but this season was just fire from beginning to end. Twists and turns. It was funnier. It was more drama. It made us feel something. It made us care about the characters. It made us hate some other characters. Lee Pace kills. My brother Lee Pace kills. Demerzel, that actress, she did amazing. And I feel bad. I should look up her name, but I'm not gonna do it right now. This season I gave it 10 to season 1. Can I give it 10 plus to this season? This season is a 10. There's no if or buts about it, so it's a 10. I totally love this season so much. I'm gonna rewatch it again in one sitting, just because I really enjoyed it. Laura Byrne,
yeah,
shout out to you. You did amazing. Everybody, they have a great cast. Harry does well as well. Gail does all right. Salvador does all right. Howard Malo does amazing, but they leave some bounds. Lee Pace is like over here. Laura Byrne is like right over here in regards to the range of their character. The clones, they do okay as well, but those two people really made the show. You can make a whole story with just them two. It will make the season very interesting. So it's a 10 plus for me. I totally loved it. I am gonna miss the show so much. I do hope that the writer's strike don't delay the show, don't get the show canceled. Apple, please give us a third, fourth, and fifth season so we can have a nice wrap up. With that said, Mr. E, plenty of stuff. Been rambling on for quite a while. Take us home, Mr. E.
Hey, this has been great. We circled around back to the series that started us, and you guys are with us. We appreciate all the love. We got more shows coming. I think. Well,
Wheel of Time. We're gonna be hitting Wheel of Time. We just gotta catch up.
It's decided. There it is. That's breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Stick for the next episode. It'll be on Wheel of Times. I know it's in the middle of the series, but we've been watching, and we will catch you next week. Until then, I'm Mr. E. This is Lion, and we are
On Structure.
That's right.